Stand here. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for remaining. I appreciate the hardcore small businesses that are out there. Could we turn up just the lights for a second so I can see how many small businesses I have in the audience? Would you please stand if you're a small business? No, stand up for a moment so we can see. All right, here's my second question. If you have a subcontract within DISA, please sit down. Okay, so that means that all the rest are standing, have a prime contract in the agency. If you have a prime contract in DISA, thank you so very much for doing a stellar job and allowing your competition, meaning other small businesses, to compete. Okay, I just want you to know that we in DISA fully understand that a small business is the heart of the American economy. We know that you drive innovation, and we know that you drive job creation. My presentation this afternoon will focus on how Team DISA has successfully, over the past 10 years, created a culture in which a small business with the appropriate technical capabilities can compete in a fair environment and win. We have a phenomenal story to tell about our outstanding small business program, and we're going to talk a little bit about DISA's Small Business First acquisition strategy. Let me start by stating that creating small business prime opportunities is not a one-person effort. It is a full agency effort. It takes a dedicated contracting organization as well as a dedicated acquisition organization, working collaboratively along with my office to ensure that small business opportunities are made available. Okay, simply stated, my office has the responsibility to ensure that we execute the national policy, which is to ensure that maximum practical opportunities are provided to small businesses, small disadvantaged businesses, women-owned small businesses, HUBZone historically underutilized business zones, which is HUBZones, and women-owned small businesses, to participate in all of our agency endeavors, whether as a prime contractor or as a subcontractor. I also want to ensure you that your voice is strongly heard in my office. I am your advocate, and everyone probably at DISA, particularly senior leadership, will tell you that I do a good job of making sure that your voice is heard. As you can see by earlier today about some of the acquisitions that are coming forward, even though you saw a lot of GSA vehicles being mentioned and Encore, we do put out separate acquisitions. So don't be upset if you're not on some of the GSA vehicles, because there are separate acquisitions that do go out to support small businesses. Just also know that my office is fully engaged in every single aspect of the acquisition process. So over the last 10 years, these are DISA's numbers. You can see for FY09 and FY10, we have indeed broken down barriers by awarding over $1 billion to small businesses. Now that is a major accomplishment. And we were pretty much recognized by the OSD Office of Small Business Programs with that recognition for being one of the top defense components to award, other than the services, to award $1 billion to small businesses. So you can see over the last 10 years, our numbers have consistently gone up. DISA and DISA's leadership has taken a personal responsibility to ensure that the small businesses have an opportunity to compete on all of our major acquisition. The numbers are phenomenal, but these are a couple of things I just want you to know, that if you're a small business and you see these numbers, and you heard Ms. Miller talk about low price technically acceptable as one of the many source selections process that we use, do not believe that you can come in with a low price and automatically get one of our acquisitions. The one thing that we really do stress about companies, we want you to have the technical capabilities so that when you do receive an award, that you are capable of fulfilling all the requirements, because our director is very concerned about the value that he receives from the contractor. And that value really stems back to you, the taxpayer. Are we getting the best effort from our contracts, from the contractor who bid? We're looking for performance, not necessarily the promises. So make sure that if you go after one of our contracts, that you're able to fulfill the requirement completely. Okay, for small disadvantaged business, we had 2 straight years where we have awarded over $500 million to small business. So that means to small disadvantaged business. Primarily, we use the 8A sole source. We also use the 8A competition, We're also using 8A stars. So pretty much we're using existing 8A vehicles, or we're using the SBA 8A business development program, because in case you're not aware, DOD does not have the authority to do small disadvantaged business set-asides. So that's exactly how we get our numbers. Also, a part of the Small Business Jobs Act of 2010, if you have not taken the time to read that piece of legislation, that piece of legislation, please take the time to do so, because it really does have an overwhelming impact for small businesses. For example, one of the things that they put in place is that among the small businesses, there is equal parity. So if you're an 8A, service-disabled, veteran-owned small business, HUBZone, a woman-owned small business, you are all on the same playing field. So now from a contracting perspective, we have to give consideration to the socioeconomic categories before we can do a general small business set-aside. So the socioeconomic categories have priority over a general small business set-aside. So that's one. I'm going to get into the other one in a minute, but just keep that in mind when it comes to the Jobs Act. Take the time to read it. For women-owned small businesses, we have done a stellar job over the last 10 years in increasing our numbers in terms of contract awards, and this is prior to the February date that allows us to do women-owned small business set-aside. So every contract that you see here that's been awarded, that woman won it in a competitive environment. So I think that's really phenomenal. We have exceeded this goal, as you can see. We have exceeded the 5% for the last 5 years. So DISA, for the last 5 years, has awarded over 5% of their dollars to women-owned small businesses. HUBZones, this number keeps fluctuating. At one point we had tons of HUBZone companies that were providing IT support. If there are any HUBZone companies out there that believe that what you've heard today, you can actually do work at DISA, please come see me, because I'm really interested in trying to find and set aside more opportunities for HUBZones. Service-disabled veteran, we've steadily increased over the last 10 years. We have not actually reached our 3% goal yet. We are about 2% now. That's usually the range that we fall in, but we are making tremendous strides to provide opportunities to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Every acquisition, pretty much, that you see going out that is for service-disabled veteran-owned small business is primarily a brand new requirement in terms of there's no incumbency. So if you're a service-disabled veteran and you see requirements out there, please pursue it. We're trying to get as many requirements of service-disabled veterans because we have a goal that we like to meet, and within the Department of Defense, it's really kind of important that we take care of our service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. And yes, we do use the VETS contract. Okay, for FY10, these are our small business goals. This is what the agency achieved. Now, I will tell you that we achieved our small business goals, but according to the OSD Small Business Office, because we didn't hit that 0.2, that dangling decimal, they are saying that no, you did not meet your small business goals. But I think we did, because we did an extraordinary job within our agency of awarding over $1.2 billion. Every year we get stronger and stronger in our goals. As I was telling, we were at 1.7 for service-disabled veterans, but we are going to get to the point where I will see that 3%, and everyone in DISA will be happy, because we are doing everything that we can to support service-disabled veterans. And I would like to see us reach our, consistently go for a little bit higher HUBZone goals. So again, HUBZone companies, come see me. DISA has endeavored to ensure our small business first acquisition strategy is really, DISA has endeavored to ensure that our small business acquisition strategy is an agency endeavor. To that end, our contracting organization, along with our component acquisition executive, Ms. Miller and Mr. Monterano, have come together to sign off on a memorandum that will require that all program offices will put forth a consistent effort to ensure that small businesses are giving first review prior to going to a large business. So that's not only effective for FY11, it's also effective in FY12. This agency is going to do everything that we can to support small businesses. Also, on that same note, the director of the agency is also signing out a memorandum stating that small businesses are the heart and soul of this country, and everything that we must do to support them. And so he's also ensuring that not only is it just flowing through DISA, but it's also flowing to our customers and it's also flowing to our combatant commands. So we are putting every effort that we can for FY11 as well as into FY12 to support small business. I also want to add that the current administration has made it its top priority for FY11 to ensure that all federal agencies meet the 23% goal. Now, you know, we did have that little hiccup with a delayed budget being passed, a delayed appropriation bill being passed for most of the federal agencies. So we may not hit it for FY11, but you can rest assured that every effort for FY12 will be made to hit that 23% overall federal-wide. But let me take it one step further. He has specifically demanded that DOD reach the 23%. Because you know where DOD goes, so does the rest of the federal agencies. So every effort is going to be made within DOD for FY11 to hit the 23% goal. So if you're looking at any of the other defense components, you're going to start seeing a lot of requirements specifically for small business. So in FY11 and in FY12, every effort is going to be made to get for DOD to reach 23% in small business awards. Now remember, we're talking prime dollars only and not subcontracting dollars. Okay, for FY10, this is concentrated areas. This is how the dollars pretty much break out in terms of where we spend our resources. So when you look at the NAICS code for 51, typically that's going to be a lot of your network services requirements. When you look at the NAICS code area 54, probably some of the programs that would use that may be computing services, maybe operations, and maybe the PEOMA. So those are pretty much where the bulk of our dollars are spent. And the last area, it's pretty much what you would say desktops, laptops, furniture, just a lot of miscellaneous things. But if you're really interested in doing work, we pretty much stick to NAICS codes areas 51 and 54. These are our goals for FY11. As you saw on one of Ms. Miller's earlier charts, right now where we stand, we probably won't break the $1 billion barrier this year. So that means I'm going to try really hard for next year because of where we are in the cycle now. But right now we're pretty much at $763 million to small business, which means that probably by the end of the fiscal year, you may want to add hopefully another couple of $100 million being awarded to small business. But every effort will be made to reach our small business goal of 27%. And I just want to leave you with a few helpful hints in terms of how to maneuver through DISA. One of the things to keep in mind is take advantage of your time here at this conference. You know, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but the tables in front that have some of the numbers are where a lot of our senior leaders are sitting. So take the time to come and introduce yourself. But when you introduce yourself, do me a favor. Don't say you're a small business, you're in the 8A program, you're a HUBZone, you're a service-able veteran, you're a woman-owned. Let's take those first 2 minutes because that's pretty much all they have. And why don't you get the name of your company out at least twice and get your capabilities out at least twice. So leave them with a memorable moment versus I'm a HUBZone. Let that be, let's not make that a part of the conversation as you talk about your introduction. Get connected. I asked this question yesterday and I was really shocked. You know, no one had bothered to friend DISA on Facebook. DISA has a Facebook page. Be our friend, okay? We have a web page. On the web page, you can receive email alerts, emails about everything that is DISA. If you're really interested in doing business here, sign up for our email alerts. Visit our web page. There's a lot of good technical information about what DISA is all about a lot of our programs on our website. Do that. I know a lot of you are not in Twitter. I'm going to encourage you. DISA has a Twitter account. We tweet. You know, so basically, you know, get one of those little hash marks and come join us. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, a lot of DISA senior leaders are members of LinkedIn. So make those connections. Get engaged. By you being here today, I think that's phenomenal because this is where you find out the heart and soul of DISA. This is what you find out about what we do technically. This is where you find out where our roadmap is, what is our framework, where is DISA going in the future. So get engaged. We have more industry days in the fall. We're probably going to have a small business industry day. So if I don't have your card, the odds of you getting invited are going to be pretty slim. So make sure I get your card so you can attend our industry day and our other outreach events. Get plugged in by responding to the RFIs. When you take the time to respond to the RFIs, answer the questions Answer them thoroughly, because it really is used to make those hardcore small business decisions. Do not attach one of your slickies about your company. We really need you to take the time to answer the questions. And the other piece of that is understand there are 3 types of competition you're going to be working with when you get involved in DISA and when you respond to RFIs. The first competition is going to be small business versus large business, because that's where we make the decisions. The second type of competition is small business versus small business. Your third type is incumbency versus challenger, because that's where the rubber meets the road. Why should we change? So if you're a small business wanting to do business here, give us a good reason to switch up from what we have, because when people love a company, they really love a company, as you well know. So that's how you get plugged in. Get partners. Teaming is very important. You know, it's okay to let us know that one company does it, but when you come to the table with 3 or 4 of you, and you both say, all of you say that, hey, we're thinking about submitting a proposal, that actually makes a difference. Because one company is not enough for us to say, okay, let this go small business set aside. We need for you to bring 2 or 3 more companies to the table that have those capabilities. Joint ventures are good. If you look at a lot of our solicitations, we do allow joint ventures in our solicitation. Mentor-protege program, I do get asked a lot of questions about that. Currently, DISA does not have a mentor-protege program. We did have one, so understand the thought is to revisit the mentor-protege program, but right now, the funding for DOD and DOD's authorization the program has been authorized for another 5 years, but the funding has only been authorized to the end of September. So the issue is right now, once they get the funding stretched out for the next 5 years, we will go back and revisit the mentor-protege program. Get current. I'm not sure if a lot of you are able to get into the vendor area, but if you are, you know, Military Technology Magazine has a beautiful picture, I should say a very handsome picture of our director who has provided an interview. These are the things that you should be reading to make sure you understand DISA technically. Also, Defense Systems has an article about DISA, about how we're going to go mobile. So take the time to get engaged, take the time to understand, because our agency is open to new solutions from all sources, especially small business, regardless of size, because when a small business has an opportunity to compete for a prime contract, generate cost-effective pathways to smarter solutions that optimize the presence of small business in our contracting base and our industrial base, it kind of helps ease our ability to meet our statutory small business requirements, and it also gives us access to small business with emerging technologies. Our success is defined by the number, truly our success within this agency is defined by whether or not we meet our small business goals and the number of dollars that we award to small business. We have a willingness to engage, and we're just looking for companies that are willing to engage with us. So here's my point of contact information, and I'm ready to address any questions that anyone might have. Now, I don't want everyone to corner me at table 26. But there are no questions. Thank you very much for your time and attention.